Hello, this screencast tutorial is going to show you how to install FDS and Smokeview version 6 on Mac OS X. So the first thing I want to do is download FDS and Smokeview version 6 from the FDS and Smokeview primary website. So if I get to the primary website, I can click on the green button to download FDS and Smokeview. Now I'm going to be downloading FDS and Smokeview version 6, which is currently in beta. So I'm going to click on the complete list of current downloads. After the official version of FDS and Smokeview version 6 is released, you should be able to use the green buttons above. So if I click on the list of downloads, I'll see the top downloads here on this page are for FDS 6 Release Candidate 1. So if I select the 64-bit version of Mac OS X, because the machine I'm installing on is 64-bit. There's also a 32-bit option. I'm going to select the 64-bit option, which brings me to this page. And on this page I can click the download link to download FDS and Smokeview version 6. While that's downloading, just a quick note on the previous page, you'll notice that the Windows downloads are .exe files or executable files, and the Linux and Mac downloads for FDS6 are .sh files. These are shell scripts that can be installed on Linux and OS X, and what this does is make the FDS and Smokeview experience more consistent across all of the platforms when running FDS. So now that the file has finished downloading, I'm going to follow the installation instructions that are available on the wiki page. So if I click the wiki tab under installation notes and FDS Smokeview installation notes, I'll see there are Linux and Mac installation notes available. If I click on the Mac installation notes page, this wiki page lists instructions for installing FDS and Smokeview on Mac, and I'm going to follow these top instructions to do that in this tutorial. There's also a couple of notes about the FDS and Smokeview launcher script, which I'll also do in this tutorial, and the bottom portion contains notes on MPI versions of FDS. So the first thing I need to do after downloading FDS and Smokeview is to open the terminal application, which is a command line application. So the easiest way to do this on Mac is to click the spotlight in the top right and just type the word terminal, and you'll see terminal is selected as the top hit. If I press the enter key, I will get the terminal application open. Now this is a command line application. We're just going to run a couple of commands and proceed with the installation of FDS and Smokeview. So if I go back to the web page now, I have completed step 1. Step 2 is to change directories, or using the cd command, into the downloads folder. So by default your browser probably downloaded FDS into the downloads directory. Otherwise you can cd to wherever the installation file is. So if I go back to the terminal window, I can now type cd downloads and press the enter key, and I'm now in the downloads directory. If I type ls for file listing, I will see the FDS6 installation file ready to be installed. So if I go back to the web page, there is one step here, step number 3, that I need to do. What this does is changes the permissions on the installation script such that it is executable. So this command stands for change mode, plus X stands for executable, and there's the FDS file name. So if I go back to the terminal window, I can now type chmod, change mode, space, plus X, space, and I can type FDS. And to save a little bit of typing, you can use tab completion. You can press the tab key, which will complete the rest of the file name. So I now have the command as shown on the wiki page, chmod plus X, FDS, and so on, .sh. So if I press the enter key now, I have now set the script to be executable, and I am ready, looking at these steps here, to perform the final installation step. So to do this, I need to type a leading ./ and then the file name, And what this does is runs the installation script. So I'm going to type /FDS, and I can press the tab key again for file completion. And now I'm ready to press the enter key. So the installation has begun. So here we have the version number and of the installer, and there are a couple of options. The first option is to press enter to begin the installation of FDS and Smokeview. The second option is to type the word extract to unzip or unarchive the contents of the FDS and Smokeview archive in the current directory. I'm going to choose option 1, so I'm going to press the enter key. And the next prompt asks where I would like to install FDS. If I press 1 and hit enter, the default location is Applications, FDS, and FDS-6. Also, if you have an older version installed, it will be alongside here in FDS-5. You can also enter a new directory path if you wish to install FDS and Smokeview to a custom location. I'm going to use the default location, so I've pressed 1 to select Applications, FDS, FDS-6, and I'm going to press the enter key. Now there's a final confirmation that says the installation will go to Applications, FDS, FDS-6, and I can now type the word yes to install FDS and Smokeview. So I press enter, the installation has begun, the directories are created, and the various startup files have been created or modified. So at this point, I've completed the install of FDS, so I'm going to close the terminal window. And there are a couple of other notes here about some things that are installed, only for information. But the installation is complete. So now if I go to the Finder window on the dock and click that, I go to the Applications folder, I'll see a new folder called FDS, and there's FDS-6. And there are 3 directories: bin, which has the binaries, this has FDS, Smokeview, and other utilities here, as well as the launcher, which I'll talk about in a moment. It has a documentation folder with the user and technical guides for FDS and Smokeview, and a couple of links to the website. And finally, the examples folder, which has various examples for controls, fires, pyrolysis, species, and so on. So one handy optional thing that I like to do is to install the FDS launcher script. And the way to do this is to double click on this zip file here. And I've extracted the FDS and Smokeview launcher. So I can actually drag this icon, the one that I unzipped, to the dock and release, and I've added the launcher to the dock on the bottom of the screen. So now I can actually drag FDS or Smokeview files to this launcher, and it will launch them without having to use the command line. So if I back up here to the examples folder, and I'll run one example to show how the launcher script works. So if I go into the controls folder, there's a input file called activateevents.fds. If I drag this FDS file to the launcher and release, we'll start running that case in FDS. When it completes, we'll see FDS completed successfully, and I can now quit the launcher script. You'll notice the script made a folder for me called activateevents, and the output files for FDS are here. So I can actually take the Smokeview file, the .smv file, to the launcher, drop it on there, and the case opens right up in Smokeview. So I can now right click on the screen, load particle file, particles, and there's the output in Smokeview. So it's a nice way to run FDS or Smokeview files without having to use the command line or terminal application. So I can quit the launcher to exit Smokeview, and just to show how to do that using the command line, I can actually run the same case in the terminal window. So again, I'll go to the spotlight and click terminal. If it doesn't show terminal, you can type the word terminal there. Press the enter key, and here I want to use the cd command, change directory, to cd to /applications FDS, FDS-6, and I press enter. I can press LS to see which folders and files are in that location. So I want to CD into the examples folder. Press enter. Type LS again. Now I want to go into the controls folder. So I'll type CD controls. Enter. And if I type LS, I can see the activate vents.fds case that I wish to run. So I can type FDS activate vents.fds. Press enter. The case runs in the current directory, and when it's finished I can press the ls command. There I have all of the output files in the current directory, and from here I can type Smokeview activate vents, press enter, and there's the case in Smokeview just like before. So I can load particles here. And when I'm done, I can close that out. And so you see that the installer script or bundle made use of the FDS shortcut. So you can type FDS from any location, press enter, and you'll see the version of FDS that you currently have installed. You can also type Smokeview like I did earlier, press enter, see the version. If you type FDS or Smokeview without a case name, it will show the version number like this. So that concludes the instructions. Again, these are available on the FDS website on the wiki page under installation notes for Mac. You simply follow these instructions that were shown in this video. You can install FDS and Smokeview version 6, and there's a couple of command line commands that you have to issue in order to install FDS. But once that's done, you can use the launcher script to launch FDS like we did here. Alright, thank you.